Hello everybody, welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble, I'm on Patreon, Twitter, all that stuff here for extra support. And let's get started. Again, for the 60i DOA, basically no reviews because there were no review units sent to any reviewer. So every review that you will see starting from launch day, because there is it will take like at least 1 or 2 days, I think, to get a decent review of this GPU. Again, this is a DOA card. It's anticipated that will deliver some higher frame rate in memory intensive games compared to the 8GB 4060 Ti, of course, because the bandwidth is basically the same. Even the interface is Gen 4 times 8, which is not good. It's like half of bandwidth still, so even if you had like more memory bandwidth, the fact that you might get limited by the fact that you have only like half of the bandwidth on the PCI connection, it's a mess. Plus, with people with older like motherboards, especially if they have like PCI Gen 3, it's better to take older alternatives, because this will basically limit the performance of the GPU itself. Even if you can take advantage of like a 1080p gaming, the fact that it is limited to Gen 4 times 8, it will be limited on Gen 3 PCI Gen 3 motherboards. So I think it's even better to consider like previous generations AMD. You can get like even like some Intel GPUs if they are in a good value, or the 4060 non-TI. It's even better than this for the older systems. So you don't even take advantage of the fact that you have a newer GPU, and the fact that this GPU is limited in so many ways. It's artificial limited. This GPU could be good. This is wrongly named, of course. Everybody and I concur. This is basically a 4050. The 4060 non-TI, it's made on the the chip, the 107 chip, which is usually it's always been done with the 50 class series, and sometimes even the 60 class card, but in very limited cases, I think, from my memory. And usually the 106 is this case should be like the 4060 non-TI version, and sometimes the TI version of the 106 die is usually when it's like fully enabled, or like sometimes even a cut down 105 die for the TI version of the 60 class card. So it's limited also, of course, in a memory bus. It's even more limited than previous generation. Previous generation had like a 200 and something, if not mistaken, or 192-bit memory bus, which gives more bandwidth for the memory, for the graphics to be processed and everything. So even the 3060 Ti in some cases it handles better everything than the 4060 Ti. Yeah, I don't know. A 4060, you might justify it by $250 maybe. Even though I think mainly because of the technology, the AV1 codecs, the DLSS technology that can be enabled in 1080p gaming can, in most cases, not be an issue. But the fact it has less memory. Always don't forget, when you enable these technologies like DLSS, especially ray tracing, you will need always more VRAM. And this is one of the cases they try to justify the fact they are launching the 16GB. This is just a response of the backlash to the fact that these low-end cards have like low VRAM, and worse than that, have lower memory bus. Again, the fact that they have more cache, I think they have more L2 or L3 cache, I think, I'm not sure which one. They have more cache. It will benefit if they had like more memory bandwidth to handle the fact, so the cache can be paired better with the memory bus. It's a mess. The 60 cards, class cards, the 70 class cards from NVIDIA are a little bit better. Of course, terms of performance are way better, but still the prices are all over the place. They need to be, I think, from what I understood, because I don't pay too much attention, the fluctuation on prices, they have to be around $100 to $150 less to be considered an option, in my opinion. But yeah, NVIDIA DOA, this generation is, if you're waiting to upgrade, basically you just need to wait a little bit more to see if the prices get even lower, to be more to compensate the fact that you can upgrade, or wait for a refresh where I don't know if they're going to make some improvements and maintain kind of a lower price. I don't know, but at the moment, even for AMD, the XTX, if you reach around $800, I think it's, but it's like a high end. So even in the low end, if you really need to upgrade, if you have like last gen, the 6000 series or even the 30 series, just keep the GPUs. They are more capable of handling like 1 or 2 years probably. But yeah, just wait. If you're building a new system, okay, you can check some deals here and there to buy a new GPU, but for upgrading, it's unless you have like 6 or 7 years old GPU and it's in its last legs, you can consider trying to buy something. But still, if you want to upgrade and you have like that older GPU, I think last gen 6000 and even 30 series from NVIDIA, it's better than this generation. The uplift in performance doesn't compensate by the fact that it is more expensive. But yeah, and continuing with that trend, seems that Acer they announced they were going to launch the 7600 from AMD, the Predator BiFrost, with this cooling like the blower and one normal fan here. But I think they are of a little bit of their depth, asking $400 for this GPU, which basically costs more even in the Spanish. This is in Spain, so the Spanish market. And it costs even more than the 6700 XT, which is a huge, way better GPU to get. I think it's 12 gigabytes, if not mistaken, and it can handle way better 1440p, and basically it's on par or even better than the 7600. So I don't know. This is going to this is in Spanish, so basically it's telling that confirming that the availability and the price is this one. It's going to be available through August, but still, this is not good. In Spain, you can get it like 260, the 7600, like the AMD one. Yeah, I don't know. These guys, they smoke something. I don't know, but it's going to get like a discounted for sure, because the AMD one, it's at this price point, 260, which is basically the same in everywhere. So yeah, I don't know what they were thinking about that, especially in Europe, which is not a good economy at the moment, to buy, even considering like spending $400 on the GPU with this kind of performance. But yeah, supposedly AMD is going to launch a 7900 GRE, which is what they call it, Golden Rabbit edition. Basically, I think this is been talking about a little bit as a rumor. Again, this is a rumor. Some leaks from Moore's Law is Dead channel, from like a cut down die, like a Navi, like the chip of Navi 31 inserted in a die of a 32. So basically, it's like a mix back there. I think this is going to be used supposedly for this Golden Rabbit edition of the 7900. There is a lot of speculation that it might have like 16 gigabytes of memory, maybe just a 256 bit. I don't know, because it's going to be a middle of the road. I don't know if I think they need to change the naming. They're just trying to get people to think that it's going to be like a huge GPU even though the compute units, I don't know if this is going. This is not final, of course. It's just rumor, but it's interesting how they went about it, which is basically inserting the die from this one, the chip, the main chip, the GPU itself, on a die that it's belonging to a Navi 42. And they have to also, I think they have disabled one of the memory stuff. That's why you have less memory and less memory bus also. It's interesting the engineering they went about it, and because I think it's basically mainly because there are some GPU chips from Navi 31 that are not like full functional, so they take advantage of the fact that this is why chiplet technology is very useful. You can mix and match these kind of things in certain cases, and this is one of those. I think they can, for example, enable until 84 instead of the 96 compute units on those like flawed chips per se, and basically pair it with a die, with a smaller die. It can basically fit there and snuggle there and make like a new SQ version of a GPU. It's interesting how they are going about it. This they did this, but it's only a matter of having like availability of flawed chips that can be then inserted on the different die and make like a launch, because you have to have stock for this. But at the moment it's a rumor, and supposedly this is going to be only available in China. It's preferred to maintain between these two. I think I don't want any of those two. It's preferable at the moment. The XTX is again, it's way better deal now. That in some cases the $800 promotion that they did like a few days ago, I covered here. It's more interesting, that one, because of course of the specs itself, and the fact that the XT version usually it's like $100 to $150 lower, which is basically the average is being it's like 10 to 12% less expensive, but it has less 20 to 25% in terms of performance, which is doesn't compensate. It's basically at the moment it's still basically an upsell for the XTX, but yeah. The last news here from hardware here, it's Samsung. Now they did the press release. It's introducing the GDDR7 memory, which is basically a good uplift in terms of performance, and even in terms of energy efficiency. Basically with Samsung, it's like 1.4 times better than the GDDR6 in terms of bandwidth, and basically can boost the speeds per pin up to 32 gigabytes per second, which is always good, mainly because they altered how the signal between the memory and everything goes. It's like pulse PAM free instead of the NRZ, which is non-return to zero state, which is I'm not an engineer, but I don't know where it does or not. But the signaling, they went about it so basically allows more transfers per second, and improved memory bandwidth, which is always good. And also with that, it allows like 20% more efficiency, which is good for laptops, mobile devices, and everything that can use this kind of chips of this memory. It's always good. And also in terms of heat generation, they managed to put like an epoxy molding compound with high thermal conductivity for packing material, blah 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 blah. So basically, can reduce thermal resistance by 70%, which is a lot in terms of the fact that your mobile device, being a laptop or even like a Steam Deck or something like that, these kind of devices, even like for example a Switch, they can use this kind of technology. And even for consoles, like even for car stuff, all this kind of appliance that might benefit for this kind of memory stuff on their components, it's good because it reduces the need for heat dissipation stuff, so it's more efficient in that regard. it's always good to see. Well, I don't know when we are going to see this. Maybe by the end of the year we start seeing some stuff here, because usually it's automotive stuff, like appliances stuff, if applicable on these cases. Usually it's when they introduce these things first, because it's mass produced, so mass orders get more money selling this. We'll see how it goes. I think we might, with this advancing, we might see this in some GPUs next year. I'm not sure. Samsung does a lot of memory stuff, GDDR stuff. We'll see how it goes. Maybe it's even some on Intel GPUs. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's good to see that this kind of technology is coming out, makes the GDDR6 even more cheap, and everything that gets GDDR6 will eventually low a little bit on price. And some gaming news here, some patches and updates. The Last of Us, this is like very, I was just reviewing before doing the video. This was basically a launch dispatch, like 1.1.1. Fixed a lot of AMD visual bugs, crashes, and more stuff here. Mainly the bugs and crashes resolved like the checkerboard patterns in older AMD GPUs. When using motion blur, I don't like using motion blur. It just degrades the image quality. It's good for low end and maybe sometimes with like lower frame rates, to disguise any kind of the fact that it doesn't feel that fluid. It's good for movies like low frame rates, like 30 FPS. I think can be useful. But if you're very sensitive to this, you can get a little bit nauseated with this effect. It depends a lot person to person. But yeah, you got all these crashes here. There is not basically like performance upgrades here. But yeah, some fixes here and there, like photo modes, like small things here and there. Even some texture stuff that, where did I see that? Some like appearance of water, cutscene, playing the I saw something regarding some textures here and there. Okay, I just hope that I don't know, because I don't have the PC to test it out. If the performance is, I think it's better how they handle VRAM the game. I think it's a little bit improved, but this is one of those things that should be Q&A long before the game would launch. But yeah, at least they are working on it. What can you do? And lastly, we got Callisto Protocol patch 5.03. Basically addresses more PC ray tracing crashes and further improves performance. This is one that if we have a low VRAM GPU, you are going to struggle playing this game in higher settings. But yeah, it seems like a minor one, but usually it fixes a lot of in terms of performance. In terms of all, even like no, it's mainly about PC performance, basically stuff, basic stuff. Patches out of world streaming issues in Final Transmission expenses, so the expansion that they launched also is basically fixed. Yeah, it's good to see that they are improving. It was a very shaky first launch for the studio here from the previous. I think he was the creative director of the original Dead Space. But yeah, hopefully the continuation of the gaming series of Callisto Protocol will be way better and improved upon, because the visuals, and I think the story is not that bad. And even the gaming mechanics, I don't think they are like horrific. But yeah, as long as they improve in the future, I think this could be a good sci-fi horror franchise here. And I'm going to wrap up with some gaming deals. We got still Plague Tale Innocence. I think I didn't bring this up yesterday, but it's until the 24th, so you got like around 5 days, so you're 55% off. And the Plague Tale Requiem also is 55% off. So and I think you can buy the pack together. Yeah, the two bundles is 55% off, so $31 both games. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is on discount if you buy the two. Yeah, solo discounts there isn't any. It's like a bundle stuff here, which is, if you don't have any of them, it's awesome. Also we got SnowRunner. It's one of those little games, 45% off. This one's a little tricky. Which one to buy? I advise you to at least to buy the base game, because this has like a plan for this launch like 2 years ago. They have like a 3-year plan to do a lot of content here. This is like a more relaxing, trying to get around the physics-based scenarios here and unlocking like the old trucks. I like this kind of games. You don't have like the rush of reaching first. It's basically you have to reach in one piece, or with less damage possible and with your cargo intact as you can. And you can see it's got a lot of physics-based challenge here. It's very not relaxing, but it's take your time doing your stuff. And it's got some older vehicles and how they're going about it. You can use the like the petrol tankers here, and you have like some crane stuff here to help to like remove stalled trucks and everything. And last we got here Planet of Lana, which was launched like 1.5 months ago. Seems now very overwhelmingly positive. It's like a puzzle game. It's 20% off, and I think it's a good one. I saw some reviews, some footage. This is a very, very interesting one. So not a lot of speaking, it's more about puzzle and environment storytelling here. And it's, of course, it's a 2D, and it seems pretty good. It seems really, really, really good. And I'm going to wrap up for today, guys. With my Google get funding for me to operate my PC to get better and more content for my private clients, and of course doing some video stuff for them also. And in my free spare time, doing the daily videos with better quality, doing some scripted content to get some deep dives in some subjects that I like to talk about. Of course, resuming also my gameplay series and possibly doing some live streams in the near future. And with that said, guys, hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. So until then, Kunamy Master out.